President Donald Trump has left Busan following his meeting with Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. On board Air Force One, Trump said the bilateral was a great success. He announced lower tariffs on Chinese imports and said the issue over U.S. access to rare earths has been settled. He said the meeting has yielded an extendable one-year deal on the supply of crucial rare earths. Also, he said China is to buy tremendous amounts of soybean. Moreover, he said he and Xi discussed chips. On the other hand, Xi, in a statement to Chinese media, had stated that he has reached consensus with Trump on trade issues. He said Trump and he have agreed to maintain communication and shorten list of problems. The two leaders had not made any comments after the talks that lasted over 1 hour 40 minutes. They just shook hands before departing in their respective limousines. However, Trump had expressed optimism ahead of the bilateral talks, saying he expected them to be successful. He had also described Xi as a tough negotiator.
No doubt. President, do you plan to sign a trade deal today?
Could be. I think we'll have a great understanding. We have a great relationship. A long period of time, and it's an honor to have you with us.
Sitting for the meeting, Xi had told his U.S. counterpart that while the two countries do not always see eye to eye, they should strive to be partners and friends. Now, besides meeting with Xi during his multi-nation visit, Trump secured billions of dollars in new investments, signed multiple trade and minerals agreements with the governments of Malaysia, Cambodia, Thailand, and Vietnam, Japan, as well as South Korea. Also announced extended ceasefire between Cambodia and Thailand. Well, not to forget the accolades he's taking home. Japan's new leader, Sanae Takaichi, gave him a gold leaf golf ball and a club used by former Japanese leader Shinzo Abe. Besides, he was gifted a golf bag designed by Japanese major winner Hideki Matsuyama. Also, the Nobel Peace Prize nomination. Hailing Trump's success in securing a ceasefire deal between Thailand and Cambodia, also that in Gaza, Takaichi said she was personally inspired. South Korea welcomed Trump with a replica gold crown and awarded him with the Grand Order of Mugunghwa, which is the country's highest decoration. The country had said that this is to acknowledge his previous diplomatic efforts as a peacemaker between North and South Korea.
To new trust and companionship between Korea and the United States.
All right, now for more discussion on the topic, we are now being joined by Dr. Volker Stanzel, former German ambassador to China, senior distinguished fellow at the SWP German Institute for International and Security Affairs. Also joining us, Jennifer Ewing, spokesperson for the Republicans Overseas UK. I thank you both for joining us on the broadcast. And I would like to begin with you, Jennifer. Now, we know, and I just told and reported about the accolades that Trump has received. He has also concluded his talks with Xi. According to you, has Trump achieved what he wanted to after the talks with Xi?
I believe so. I think the entire trip overseas has been a huge success. I mean, we saw what happened in Japan, with Malaysia. Obviously, the meeting with President Xi was going to be the trickiest part of the trip, but I don't think there's anyone that could say this didn't accomplish what it set out to. They've already agreed to meet again in April. There have been some relief for the tariffs that the U.S. had previously put on China, going down from 57% to 47%. In addition, the so-called fentanyl tax, which is punishing countries that the United States doesn't believe is doing enough to control illegal fentanyl into our country. That's going down from 20% to 10%. You saw that China is going to begin buying soybeans again from the U.S. That's a big America First issue. And then, of course, the rare earth that was discussed. So all in all, I think it was a great trip. It's going to play very, very well in front of the United States. And most importantly, they've agreed to meet again in April in China, and then another undisclosed date to meet in the U.S.
All right. All right. Well, Dr. Stanzel, I'm going to come to you with the same question. Now, we know that Trump has achieved, as Jennifer just said, visits. He will be visiting China in April. He's going to get Xi into the U.S., rare earths. According to you, the same question, do you think that he has been able to achieve what he had thought of? Whose gain or loss has it been in these talks?
I'm very close, actually, to Jennifer's point of view. But if you accept that the ambition, that the goal set ahead of the visit was relatively low, then yes, both have achieved what they set out to do. You see, the background is that both have realized over the past months how much they need each other. Both for exports, think of the soybeans from the US, or think of the airplane parts that the US needs to sell, or that China needs to buy from the US, and think of the rare earths exports, which are pretty painful as they are controlled presently to the United States. So something had to be done. Now, what they achieved was like 10% less in tariffs, and an agreement to meet again in April, something which I just called relatively modest. But at least it is something. It is something to show off. They have been talking to each other. They have not been fighting, as far as we know, with each other, and they're going to meet again. And that is really necessary for both, because they have seen that combating each other, that is what we have observed over the past few months, doesn't serve any of the both sides.
All right. Now, Jennifer, I'd like to come to you. We know that he had also talked about a lot of other things, like Taiwan. He said clearly that we did not talk about Taiwan. Then he also had talked about meeting North Korean leader. Do you think these were the goals that he had set up and he somehow was not able to achieve as well?
I'm not sure about that. You know, President Trump did say he thought the meeting would be 3 to 4 hours. As you reported, it was just a little, you know, it was almost 2 hours, shall we say. I think that they wanted to get some modest wins on the board, and they're meeting again in April. Taiwan is obviously a way more complex situation that could not be solved in, you know, an hour and 40 minutes, or even probably 4 hours. So I don't think that's a huge negative that that nothing has come out with regards to that. The meeting with North Korea, he definitely does want to do that again. The reason he gave was that there just simply wasn't enough time. So I buy both of those. I don't think those are excuses. I think they both make sense. If they had walked out of the meeting today saying, that's it, we're not talking again, we wouldn't see the markets up, you know, flying in China right now. And we wouldn't see that there is hope for, you know, further discussion on Taiwan and again, maybe another meeting with North Korea.
All right, let's talk about another conflict there, the Russia-Ukraine war.
May I, excuse
absolutely.
me?
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe
You may, absolutely.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. To come back to my point about a low level of ambition, your two questions really are a case in point, because Taiwan is an enormously difficult subject. So is North Korea. And to leave aside both of them shows that the ambition was not to reach any grand result this time. But if you see how the tension, that there was some tension, then you understand how difficult it is to come to a result at later negotiations. Look at the announcement by the president that the United States would start again testing nuclear arms, which is possibly a great surprise. And consider something that President Xi has said, which is that he does not mind if President Trump wants to make America great again, which is quite ironic because it says you're not great now, so please try harder.
Right. Well, would you like to respond to that, Jennifer?
You know what? I think we have no problem using the phrase "Make America Great Again." Trump uses it himself. There's an entire movement within the Republican Party called MAGA. So yeah, no offense taken. As a matter of fact, it's playing in sort of right-wing media circles in the U.S. That was a great compliment that she had brought that up and indeed complimented on a lot of his peace efforts. So I agree. A lot of the trickier issues were not touched upon. This was a first date, shall we say,
right,
in the first date of the second administration. It went well. We're going on a second date.
All right. But of course, we also have a Chinese statement urging the United States to earnestly abide by global nuclear testing ban that came right after that. Well, we have to see how that goes. Of course, there's a lot to unpack. The Russian-Ukraine war, the Russian oil subject when it comes to China, what I don't think that was discussed. But of course, there's a lot to unpack here. But I would really want to thank both of you for taking out your time and coming on the show and giving your perspective.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me.